Shalom. I probably could do it. I'm gonna try to go through that, but right now we're just gonna check. But Baba could just check the GMS Chicago on there live. Is that you?
No,
Was that
that's
it?
not it.
That was something
No,
that sound like an
we
engine
ain't got no
start.
motorcycles in there.
Right.
Baba could shot. All right, and
Good point.
is it?
That's
Good. Okay,
Yeah,
we good.
Yeah, we good to go now. We're good.
It's not on yours.
Not on there live.
It
No,
should
no,
be on
that's good.
yours.
That's the one I just did.
Okay.
I just said.
Come.
What I just said?
We
Right,
good.
did you post it up?
All
on
right.
orders?
I'm sorry, I was cutting this food and it just made this dumbass comment.
Perfect.
Cut
Cut him twice.
Check these fools. Wreck these fools.
Circle,
right.
circle.
Shalom, shalom. We are the brothers of the Great Millstone, the branch here in Chicago. And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach
double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all our fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathens that look like the heathens, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you, we say shalom. All right, and we're just going to talk about this perpetual, state of unrighteous decrees. All right, they're just never ending, and it's going to remain that way until the return of Yahweh Shai, which, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, if you have spiritual eyes, it's evident that that time is close at hand. If you've been watching, that event that just took place down in Brazil with them Asherites, they had their satanic parade,
That
that
was
carnival wickedness, and then the very next day, the Lord, struck them with vengeance with a great flood that killed people and destroyed a lot of property.
That's right.
Struck that statue.
And right. Lightning hit that statue weeks before. So the Lord ain't playing, man.
That's right, brother.
The Lord is not playing. But if you could go ahead, brother. You got something?
Yeah. This second Esdras. What's up? This second Esdras, chapter 16, and verse I'll just get to the point. 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment.
That's right.
But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So, like that flood, that's a scourge. Or the earthquake in Syria, that's a scourge. But these people won't repent. What does it say in I believe it's Zechariah, but I know it's in one of the minor prophets says the Lord brings judgment every day, but the wicked know of no shame.
That's right.
All right, these motherfuckers refuse to repent, so the Lord's going to come down with his full wrath. That's the only option left at this point.
Right.
Right.
Because you do the same shit, you get the same results, but you continue to do it. The results you don't like, but you continue to
It's
do it.
insanity.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it
It's
is.
saying to the midburn.
That's
It's,
it.
Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord have a mighty and strong one, which is as a tempest of hell, a destroying storm. That was a storm that hit. And it says, and as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. So, the Lord ain't playing around, man.
If this is second Esdras 15:11, and I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right now we're in the in modern day Egypt according to the scriptures, and the plagues. This is spiritual Egypt, right? Revelations 13:11 or something like that, or 13.
11 and 8.
Oh, it's like 11 and 8. It's like I had it backwards. All right, and the Lord calls this Egypt. Well, back in ancient Egypt, before the Passover, before we were released, the Lord started putting the plagues on them before.
Right.
And the Lord said He's doing it now. So I'm hearing about the train derailments. We're
Plague.
hearing about that's a plague.
Yep.
Hearing about the weather, that's a plague.
Plague.
We're hearing about
The bank
that's
runs.
the rain, the bank run.
Right after the Passover, you got this bank failure, and now you got people lining up in California to get their money, and they can't get it, man.
Yep.
And you lines and lines of people, and some of those people have millions in there, and they want to know what happened to the rest of their money because they're only insured up to $250,000.
And that's
And there's a threat that this may carry on. That I haven't really followed up, but I saw a couple other content providers on YouTube saying that this thing is going to continue, and it's starting to go to other banks.
Well, Elder, the plagues are just going to escalate. They're just going to get worse.
It ain't going to pull back.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's funny is everybody's talking about this one bank collapse. There were 2 bank collapses this week.
Right.
They only talk about the Silicon Valley, but what they
Then Bitcoin collapsed too?
Bitcoin dropped because the crypto bank Silvergate collapsed, which was the bank, really the other banks that really use the cryptos. This bank allowed all these cryptos to be used and shit. And that collapsed, which really is the setup for the CBDC.
Right.
Because now you can't use your crypto shit like you would, or the value's going down. Well, we got a solution. The dollar's through. Y'all crypto weak as fuck. We got some real shit for you.
And we can rob you in the meantime, because every time they do that, every time it's a bank run, every time the FDIC comes involved, when they say up to 250,000, doesn't mean you're going to get 250,000. You might, somebody who might have 10, 15 million or a billion in there, they might get 250.
Yeah, and if you number 50 in line,
shit.
by the time you get to the teller, they might have 10 grand for you.
You know what else is interesting?
They might.
That's right. That's right.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary rules, which they already said this, but it was so under the rug.
Yeah.
But the Treasury Secretary ruled out a bailout for Silicon Valley Bank. They ruled it out. Ain't no bailout.
It's a bail-in.
Well, they've been saying
So the
that.
bail-ins are going to start.
The
And
bail-ins
then I
start.
saw a video which I was trying to find about those unrighteous decrees on they were speaking about Ukraine, and the guy was complaining about how, the Biden administration is now paying Ukrainians pensions and shit when they can't even pay. Yeah,
We can't pay ours,
when
but
they
we'll pay
can't
yours.
even pay people here.
Yeah, that's
All right. Well, Jake
What?
can't even get a loan to open up a business in their own community.
Americans ain't been fucking.
Well, at least Judah anay.
So this is Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. What you just said is another unrighteous decree. How the hell? And this is what's making Esau turn on Esau, which is beautiful, because these people who worked for Esau all these years, these Bible Belt Edomites, these factory Edomites, these Polish Edomites, them farmer Edomites,
Farmers got fucked over.
right? And then they got all this money set up in their pensions and so forth, and now their pensions, they keep saying how they don't have enough money to cover the pensions. They don't even have enough money to cover Social Security, but you got enough money to take whatever you got and send it over to a foreign country, to some foreigners.
They got enough money to keep them damn jets in the sky spraying that shit all over
Yeah,
America
that's right.
every
That's
day.
right.
That
right.
that shit, and people, regular citizens are starting to talk about it now.
That's right.
The chemtrails.
Well, when I was doing
All right,
UPS,
I can only imagine how much it costs to fuel them damn jets, because they up every day, all damn day
multiple
long,
planes,
just
too. Multiple planes.
crisscrossing the skies over every major city in America, so it seems. But they got money for that shit.
You know, when I was doing UPS last peak season, one of the Edomite ladies, when I was dropping off stuff, and she was trying to put me on to telling me about the chemtrails. And when I started breaking it down, she said, "Oh, you know about it?" I was like, "Yeah," and it's not the only thing I said. But boom, she's like, "Yeah." I said, "Nobody wants to listen." And she's, Jake is, don't know in mass, but these Edomites, these heathens, they're waking the fuck up. That's why they call this woke movement or whatever.
Because you know what, you can distract the average, especially the average Negro Spigro, with a football game, with both ways, a soccer game,
big old-
football game,
Big old titties.
and a football game. Of course, yeah. Well, I'm a breast man myself, but Jake, the average Jake, you put a big old fat rump in their face,
That's it.
Right.
and put
Bring it out.
a blunt, a big screen
Hello?
TV, and they good to go, and a pair of Jordans.
Bring it
You
out.
know? Yep, there you go, man. A modern warfare game, and that's it.
2K.
Yeah, that too.
Like
They
they
go.
say, a bucket of
They don't need it. They can forget about what's going on outside
Exactly.
because they're gonna play that game till they get to then they get hungry. Then they gonna smoke the blunt. Then they gonna go try to get up with the cheeks.
So that's what it's all about. You can continue on in that Isaiah 10 because it's not only the bread and circuses, all right, that is
That's
turning aside the needy from judgment. It's also their unrighteous decrees and policies, and ultimately their ultimate agenda, of getting everyone CHIP, all right, PED.
See him.
See him.
See him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With this thing, this implantable device that's gonna go in your skin, but it's the mark of the beast, man. That the scriptures are talking about, and then for them to play God and have a new world order, a one world government in wickedness. That's their ultimate agenda. So they're gonna, gradually put out these unrighteous decrees to get to that ultimate agenda. You see? And so a part of that also is like the elders and bros are going into these bread and circuses too.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, brother?
Oh well, did you want me to finish that?
Yeah.
Just one second. Let me finish. This is back to Isaiah. Did I change the chapter? No, I just went down. Okay. Well, 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
Why?
Oh, to turn aside the needy from judgment, to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
So it's an agenda against the Most High's special chosen children, ultimately.
That's right.
Yeah, and Esau has paperwork that literally changes as he goes along. He's playing a game of football, but he keeps moving the goalposts.
right?
Well, that's what the scripture
And change the rules, right?
He changes the rules mid-game, right?
Well, he
when
said-
you start winning,
Right.
He said, let our strength be the law of justice.
Be
So
the-
when you start flourishing with their unrighteous laws that they had previously made up,
They gotta change
now we got to change it.
perfect example what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That what do they call it? The bankruptcy, the chapter 7, chapter 11.
13.
All right, those whichever ones they are, but going back to the 60s, the 70s, all right. The matter of fact, the 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s, Edomites were doing the bankruptcy and keeping all their possessions, keeping their businesses open. Donald Trump is a perfect example of it. But they just changed the name because the business was shut down, then it would open back up under a new name, and it's the same owners. All right, so they would just wipe away their debt and start all over again. All right, but as soon as Jacob started doing that in the 90s, because Jake found about it late. So Jake started doing it in the late 90s, early 2000s, and all of a sudden all the laws changed.
Yeah. It was especially when they started doing it in student loans. Esau used to be able to claim bankruptcy off the student loans for decades, and then once Jake and them started to wake up, then came the law.
I declare.
Well, there it is.
Right. See, but at the end of the day, it was not for us, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to flourish anyway in a world that was given over unto the wicked.
God.
You see, and that's why the title of the lesson is a perpetual state of unrighteous decrees. This is what's going to be from the powers that be, because Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So the Most High gave them the earth. That's why it says that evil seed was planted from the beginning, and nothing is going to be produced from an evil seed but evil. Right. But the Most High has bounds that evil cannot pass, but it must reach its bounds. And what you got? It looked like you got something good.
It's Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad.
You see, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. Yeah. And what's being oppressed is the righteousness. Yeah. Which righteousness produces immortality, life everlasting. So truly what's being oppressed is life. So you should be mad about that if you're about life.
They're not about it.
See, because it's a bunch of mindsets, decrees, policies that leads to wars, rape, rob, murder, kill, ultimately death.
You know what, brother?
Yeah.
Most Jake right now, especially young niggas, Jake, they are mad right now. They're mad about March Madness. So they're watching college football. They okay.
See, but they're not truly mad of what's going on in the world because they're still following the mindsets of this world and trying to flourish in a world that was given over unto the wicked, man. You see, well, he still got that.
Like the old rap, they're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Yeah.
And, and that's a very difficult thing to do. But go ahead, brother.
It's and a gift destroyeth the heart.
And see, and they know that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So like, no, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that they know that the powers that be, the wicked, All right. They know that they can entice you with these gifts. So now you're not looking at the true agenda. You're not looking at truly what's going on, the true problem and the root of it. You know what I'm saying? Now you just sassified, you know what I'm saying, by all the dainties, the money, cars, clothes, and the gifts.
That's why Esau's okay. That's why they get mad and defend this devil and speak up against them.
Especially our women.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the number one.
Because Esau allows you to be a goddamn bitch ass nigga, man.
Yeah, that's it.
A mo,
Yep.
goddamn a goon. Matter of fact, anything. As long as Esau doesn't care about what Jake do, as long as it's not following the how about Shemi Awashai, it's true.
That's it.
I got a quick one. This is Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law?
Framing mischief by law. These grievousness, what they do, like the scripture says, Esau, the wicked, cannot even go to sleep. They're sitting there tossing, they turn, and they're like, I just can't sleep. What's wrong? I just can't sleep. Let's tax the niggas this way. Let's fuck them up that way. 99.
Right.
What's big around his neck?
Right.
You're right.
Hey, but it says the throne of iniquity. That's letting you know iniquity, wickedness, all right, basically sin, all right, has power right now.
Is it?
You see, they're in power right now because the Most High has given them power for a purpose and for a time.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Exactly.
Let me read the next line, Baba Kashab.
Yep.
This is Psalms 94 and 21. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood.
Ooh, you see? They gather themselves against the soul of the righteous. This is what the whole thing is all about, man. Wickedness or righteousness against unrighteousness, or good against evil.
I mean, it's the age-old battle.
Yeah.
This is, and the Lord knew this coming in because He thought about it all, right? So we're entering to the fruition of what He says.
Yeah.
But you go look at from Genesis to Revelation, and look at the evidence and the receipts. You can see that Esau Edom has been systematically pushing everything into this agenda that we have right now.
And how the scriptures say, because it is in the power of their hands.
Yes.
Right. And
It's
you
in
got to
his
understand, like when you're watching the news, the day-to-day news, news is actually history.
That's it.
Because you can go back and find old news articles on certain topics and events and prove Esau to be liars about a lot of things that they teach in the school.
Brother, they got
And I'm
microfiche on every single
going to
thing.
give you a perfect example. I've been rewatching The Last Kingdom, and I've this actually might be like the third time. I really like the show, but every time you watch it, there's more little things you miss that you get. And but there was one. I think this is second season, season 8. There's a scene where the king, who was being played by Edomite, he wasn't an Edomite. That's another thing that aggravates the shit out of me. But Alfred was being a bitch nigga over his daughter, and the other dude was like,
You talking about Uhtred?
no. Alfred was being a bitch nigga over his daughter. It was the dude who was Otto,
Okay.
who was Alfred's hand. He was the hand of the king. Alfred had killed his own son because his son came up against the king and against the kingdom. And basically the king's daughter had been kidnapped, and if they didn't pay a ransom, he was like, well, what happened to her? He said, well, we're gonna put her on a cart, and we're gonna they're gonna tie on the cart with her legs cocked open, and then she's just gonna get spread around to every man had their turn. So she's gonna get raped thousands of times, and it was gonna be a shame to the king and to the whole kingdom if she met a fate like that. So they was trying to pay a ransom, and the hand of the king was like, well, we can't allow that to happen. And Alfred was like, if we march on them, they'll kill her. And he was like, better her to die than to have to bear that shame. And when we need to stop them. And basically, he said, he reminded him that I killed my son for this kingdom. You should at least consider your daughter. You still have a son to keep your name going.
Dang.
I don't have no heir. So don't tell me about sacrificing. And then Alfred fired him as his right hand.
What?
Damn.
So, and then, I got a point to this. And so then he's like, okay, I'm gonna take my leave. Secretly, the army and all the people were behind him. They weren't with Alfred's decision.
That's it.
They weren't break because basically he was about to break everybody. They had to give up 500 pounds of gold, 300 pounds of gold, and 500 pounds of silver. Everybody was about to be broke as hell for this one broad and like can't live. And so basically the army marched with him. So when he left, the army marched with him and they were going to attack. And he said, well, I'm doing this for the kingdom. If I die, I'm going to die, but I'm going to save this kingdom regardless of what this weak-ass king says. So he said, and then when basically he said, and if they begin to, and then they're going to have to go to war with us, and then the army, the rest of the king's army is going to have to come fight regardless, and we'll have saved the kingdom, and if I die, then so be it, I saved the kingdom. That's pretty much what happens. And of course, Uhtred already had a plan. He went to go snatch her up, and then it all kind of happens. But then Alfred takes him and puts him in prison for him to be put on trial to die, and he's like, I ain't going out like that. He killed himself. Right. But the point is that when they wrote the history, to show you how much of it, and Esau takes a page from this. When they went to write the history, they wrote what he did out of history. Right. Like he never existed, and he never even saved the kingdom. Wow. And the same thing happened with Uhtred. Uhtred saved that kingdom over and over and over again. But by the time it got to the end, his name, you saw images of this guy, this warrior, all over the place. Right. But you never.
But he even said it in one of the episodes how it's not going to be recorded. It's not going to be written down. It's not going to be written.
And that is this wicked man. He only puts things out that's going to be to his benefit. And this goes to control his narrative. Right. And that comes in the form often of his unrighteous decrees.
Exactly. Daniel says they will think to change times and laws. Esau wants to control the narrative so bad, he rewrites history.
Good time to bring out that thing.
Which one?
The shameful spewing on their glory.
Okay, you talking about
Bill? Get that scripture.
You talking about Bill,
the
right?
interview with Bill Gates.
I got you.
Whether it's real or fake, it's still the point's still being made, because whether the mainstream media wants to admit it or not, this is the general conversation of most people, citizens around the world right now about Bill Gates.
Hey, Elder, remember when that comedian Louis C.K. said it? He basically said, because Esau has done this in history, you would think Jake ain't never got no victories. The comedian Louis C.K. said it. He said, you can go back in time. Now, mind you, he believes that the white man has always been in rulership.
Of course.
He said, you can go back any time back as a white man and everything's going to be...
He said before 1965.
Right. He said, you could go any time back in time and you'd be straight. He said, but I would hate to go into the future, which that's part of rewriting history, is them believing that they've been on top since time, since before Alexander.
It's like I always tell them, and they get mad and talk shit. Look, you weren't the Vikings.
That's right.
You weren't the Brits.
That's right.
You weren't the Scots. You weren't the Irish.
That's right.
All right, you're not Japhet.
You're not the original Romans.
You weren't the Spartans.
Not the last samurai.
You weren't right. So
you're not the Egyptians. They mad at
that too.
For that. They canceled him from hosting a award show because of that. He said the Egyptians was dark skinned. He said
because they want to completely disregard the Valley of the Kings and all the history prior to the Ptolemies.
That's madness. You're not the Babylonians. You're not the Syrians. These are the kingdoms that came before Greece.
You're nothing but the devil. That's all you are.
And then Josephus, according to the book of Josephus and the scriptures, every place they go, they put in their own names on shit and then put it on records and then perpetuate it.
And that's a unrighteous decree within itself.
Come on.
Yep.
Because you're pushing forward lies and racist narratives.
Yep.
That's it.
And has the power to do so.
That's it. And the platform and the
Habakkuk, you call for?
Go ahead, bring it out, brother.
Yeah, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 16. It says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Right. Shameful spewing on your glory, man. So we're about to place an
an
example of it.
Right, this is just the beginning. You know, it says it should be first destroyed by the mouth, and then with the burn of his coming.
Oh, before you play it, somebody get Job 27 and 15, because if you notice, the majority of now there are some Edomite males who go in on bullshit when they calling it now, all right. But the majority of the people that are calling Esau on his bullshit and his history are Edomite women.
Job 34:16.
The 27 and 15. They're some of the main people that are exposing Esau's lies, his corruption, are his own women.
Nobody knows a power change, a regime change quicker than women. And our women did it before the slave ships and on the slave ships. You watch that Woman King movie. But you watch, here said to him, they partook in slavery. They partook in selling slaves. All right, which those women were really just sex slaves for the army. All right, but who knows more than a woman in regime change? What was the comedian made the joke, Elder Malcolm? He was like, you white women was right there with us.
Yeah.
We was running shit. How dare you now try to switch sides?
He said, he said, fist of oppression and jumped in there like, we're so oppressed. Right. He said, you stood by all us toxic white males as we were rape, robbing, and pillaging the world, stealing lands and countries. And so you were right there with us. So you just need to shut up, sit down, and take your talking to. Basically, he was like, you were there the whole time. Right. But now, what else did he say? He said when you all, and we also turned a blind eye when you want to go, and hook up with a black guy every now and then, and when you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. Mm-hmm. So yeah. They know
but
you're right.
Is coming. Yeah.
Women know when the change is coming.
Hegemony, I think it's called. No, not hegemony. Hypergamy. That's the word, hypergamy. I learned that.
This is Job 27:15. And so it says,
take your talking to.
Right. Sit down and take your talking to.
Trying to jump ship.
I think he take two.
No, you don't jump ship, bitch. I mean, you jump ship.
And he fucked up. And he married a nigga woman too. So in case you didn't know.
Those that remain of him shall be buried in dust, and his widow shall not weep.
They ready, man. They was already fucking with Julio the pool boy.
Hey, this dude's daughter is getting stroked out by Jake, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
and he's grinning and bearing it.
She getting blacked.
Yeah,
he hurt.
Black.com. Go look it up.
And she is the one who's posting up all their videos and pictures in there. And every time, I have not seen him not have a teeth, full teeth.
Because you know what? I ain't going in front to you, man. If I was banging this dude's daughter and spending this money, I'd be smiling too. And people don't understand, man. There's no greater way to shame your enemy than to have your way with his women.
That's the whole ghetto.
And real women support that. I was watching what was that show in Game of Thrones with the one with Khal Drogo when him and his men were going to ride and go fight the enemy. His wife was like, "You raped their women." She was like, clocking them, bring back the gold, and rape those wenches. That's right. Like patting them on the back, go get them, honey.
That's it. Bring us back some slaves.
I'm like, damn, this a woman right here, man.
Bring me back some help.
That's some real shit.
I got to put some of this. I can hear Murph right now talking about that sweet white meat.
Come on, man, boots on the ground, man.
And I'm wondering if she's adopted because Bill and Melinda Gates is this broad is fine, man. So I don't know if they came out of his loins and out of her womb at all. Absolutely.
What you just said is actually scriptural. You said the real women support that. Well, this is Judges, the 5th chapter. A song for one start the first verse and jump down. Judges 5:1. Then sang Deborah and Barak the son of Abinoam on that day, saying, now let me jump down. I'm going to jump down to verse 28. The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice, why is this his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the woods of his chariot? Now this is a woman singing about the victory Israel got over the king. And she's saying, look, his mother was waiting, the other king mother was waiting for him to come return because they've been winning all these wars, right? Her wise ladies answer her, yeah, she returned and answered herself. Have they not spared? Have they not divided the prey? To every man a damsel or two. So this is a woman singing about this other woman, what she'll be thinking about her son come back with the victory. They come back with a damsel or two.
Right. Because we knew what the doctrine was, man.
This what Elder Malcolm says in the scriptures. The women was like, hell yeah, bring the women back. That means we won. But they saw you coming back with them women. That means you won. That's the spoils of war. Right? That's why. Hey, look. That's why you call a butt a booty.
And that's what made her life easier.
Yeah, booty means spoils.
That made her life easier when you brought back some concubines. Because now she ain't got to cook or none of that.
As much as she had.
As she had. She got servants now to do that.
And that goes. Now, what I was about to say, that goes into Jacob.
And she also. And women, all right, were concerned with keeping their man happy.
That's
so it's like so when she was unclean.
Yes.
Hey, girl, get in there.
Go take care of him.
You women, that only want your man to deal with you, you actually got a slave mentality, man. Like not the right mind, not a right type of woman slave. You got a fucking peon mentality. You don't have a royal mentality as a woman. Hey, well, Abraham's wife Sarah, she was real. She got rid of bondmaid. She was like, man, he ain't finna be heir with my son. Get rid of him. She was chastising that bitch. Chastised her, man. You bitches are weak. All right?
And I was gonna mention Jacob.
And Abraham popped that slave woman.
That's right.
She gave it to him.
That's why I was gonna mention Jacob, because Leah and Rachel sitting there competing for Jacob's affection and love. They sit up there giving their concubines Zilpah and Bilpah over to Jacob. That's the spirit that these women are supposed to have. That's right. I'm not recording. And that's
that I'm gonna play a video. It's literally just a few seconds long about the mindset and this woman.
You gotta think about
it. And this is how women mindset is actually supposed to be. All right. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, this is it. Let me turn it up. Now just listen closely.
I mean, I don't knock women for feeling proud and for wanting to have, that girl power and holding things over him, but no, you've got to give it up, ladies. I please my man in every way. All the ways. Wake him up. He gets to nut. Before he leaves out the door, he's leaving empty nuts. At work, I am calling him like, come outside, it's your lunch break. It's time for you to get your nut off. When he gets home, he's getting fed. He is getting another nut and one before bed, or two if he's lucky. That's it. That's the secret. I make sure that my man nuts at least 6 or 7 times a day.
So that's what I'm talking about. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah,
What she said was halfway on point. Bitch, ain't no man just trying to fuck you 6 times a day. He trying to fuck 6 different bitches.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Right. Put the water, bitch. You fuck another bitch down, you extra rated for your wife.
Bring it out. Hey, they can't understand that.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Hey, they can't understand that. Hey, now you know what? Now early on in the truth. Now it's funny. Hey, real talk though. Early on in the truth. Real talk. Early on in the truth. When I was first starting to deal with a woman on a regular ass basis versus in the world being an actor, I was just jumping from one bitch to bitch.
Bring it out.
And so by the time I got into the truth, I said I'm not gonna be doing that no more, because we just don't be just trying to just be out there like that. So I was dealing with the one woman for one, but the bam, and I remember dealing with coming to truth. I understood we can have different women, whatever. I went out and got me some puss. I was so hot for my main speezy. I fucked her like, to the point she was like, God damn, what's all this? And she didn't know it's because I was so hot to go hit her, because I already hit some other shit. Y'all bitches don't know the Lord. Y'all don't know men. You all don't know how it's supposed to be. Say what?
It makes home feel homey.
It makes what?
Home feel homey.
You don't know men the way the Most High set it up. You following Esau, Edom, who rather not have a woman.
Being OR, man. I came into the truth and kicked Mama Edomites to the curb.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, right?
And y'all know, she used to buy pizzas, used to sit there buy wine and do shit. All the brothers used to call her an Edomite and the whole nine, and she still bring this shit over. And I kicked her ass out, my dumb ass. But that was the Lord, because I was too comfortable.
And right, and
I'm so sick of it.
The thing is, they
I'm so mad.
They treat it better than the damn Jake woman.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Yup. Oh well. We learned.
Go ahead, read.
Hey, scripture say she that is my enemy, man. Our women treat us like shit.
That's it.
It's fucked up. We gotta go to these other nations to get fucking easy.
Salaki, real quick, Yaki, you did it. Yeah, Salaki, Yaki, you did the video on it the other day, because on the simple bitch that he talking about. Remember what she said? She said, why? We over here being slaves. Why you think I want to come to a slave? I'm going to the white man. He the slave master. I'm going to the slave master. If I'm going to this up and this, that's wicked niggas women mentality. They would rather go. They follow the money. Who's in power? And now what they don't understand is that Jake, even at a lower state, is still in power. All right, the Most High.
Jake rule the world. Jake, in scripture say, we are the form of all things. Nothing actually happens. Really, Jake is the trendsetters. Jake is Jake is the
salt.
creators. Jake is the inventors. Jake is the charisma.
The salt,
Jake
the
is
flavor.
The flavor of the whole planet. Even in Jake low estate, we still run this bitch, but we just in such a. Hey, that's how you know it was Yahweh Shema Shah that did this to us, man. That he set it up the basis of men. Because even though we doing what we doing now in slavery, we got these weak motherfuckers ruling over us, man.
Well, Elder Malcolm has said it. You know, even though these niggas are low level of wickedness, all right, what was them Israeli bitches doing? They wanted to deal with John Rule in 56. This Deuteronomy 32 and 30. How shall one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight?
Come on, man.
Except the rock that sold them.
Come on, man.
And the Lord has shut them up. We only here because we fucked up with the Lord. He put us here.
That's right.
Ain't no way in hell you can take us down. Ain't no fucking way a heathen can fuck with the Israelites, man. All right? You trying to tell me, look, who was it? Reuben, that put a mouthful of water and run across the fucking field?
Reuben, stand up.
You trying to tell me that you can fuck with that? You trying to tell me you can fuck with the, who was it? Benjamin, that can throw the sling right at a hand's breadth accuracy like that, man? You trying to tell me you can fuck? You trying to tell me you can fuck with Manasseh, nigga?
Hey, they said that the first lacrosse games was Gad.
That
you know,
Gad with the
Gad with the lacrosse.
Yeah.
Now the lacrosse field is like about less than a football
field. It was
field.
a mile long.
Say that again, brother.
It was the lacrosse.
They played a mile long. They did not do no motherfucking 300, 200 something feet. They did a hard yards or what the fuck. They went a mile, and they would take that stick with the basket with the little web and the little ball, and they would sit there and try to fight, and then toss to one another a mile.
Yeah, look at the soccer field, man.
Come on, bro.
Oh yeah, that's what
And all those sports came by Jake, man. Hockey came by niggas, man.
Yes.
Hockey was started by Jake, bro. Yep. Hockey, football, basketball, all that shit was by Jake, nigga.
That's
and
right.
Esau took it over.
I got one for you.
Bastards. And they won't let a nigga, they don't let niggas hardly in the NFL, but there are niggas in the NFL, and every time they do, they rock shot. And a lot of them, Edomitish looking motherfuckers, those is Jake, man.
Come on, NHL.
Yeah, NHL
And
like
also, well, they tell you the best hockey player. See, a lot of white people on TV, watch TV and don't know hockey, they think Wayne Gretzky. They tell you the best hockey player is One Eye Willie. That's his nickname. One Eye Willie. Yeah, nigga, that was the best hockey player, man. This the next verse. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. Yeah. So we're dealing with the true living power, man. If we fuck up, we make even our enemies rule over us, man. That's the only reason you in power, man. We wasn't sold for our destruction. All right, we were sold for our correction, our chastisement. It says in Baruch. All right, the Lord also says that we should not be destroyed, man. Malachi 3:6. So this is the waking up of Israel. And the beginning of us being back on top, man, starting with our Lord Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
It's the spirit of the Lord, right? You got 6 niggas in a car with guns, and one cop pull them over, and they all go to fucking jail, and they can kill a cop and get the fuck away with it. That's the. Hey, look, only the Lord will put it in your mind not to kill this one cop. It's 6 of y'all here with guns, got over 200 bullets in this car, and y'all get locked up by one cop. Hey, that's the Lord that put that spirit on Jake. Hey, Jake, you gotta think, Jake was swole as hell in slavery, man. You had Jake,
that's what Candy
in Candyland. He said, I don't know why they don't cut my throat.
I don't know why.
You sitting there shaving his neck. And here it is, you could just slit his neck and everybody free. But yet Jake didn't do it. They had hundreds and hundreds of slaves, and they was in the dozens. The Edomites was in the dozens on them plantations. Jake could have easily came against Esau and did it. That was the Lord that put that mindset on Jake to make you go along with it.
They even said that there was one of those cartoon videos on YouTube that for years, and it talked about how, you know, how when the KKK was started and when the rifles, when they passed that law where you could have when Negroes couldn't have handguns or guns, and they took them away, and they said because the slave masters were afraid that their former slaves would attack them and come back at them, but he said all they wanted to do was be free. So Jake didn't really have that mindset there, and the few that did, they all got put to death. All right, Sitting Bull, you know, Geronimo, Nat Turner,
the sevenfold.
you know, they you know, because the thing is that there's a time there's time and chance belonging to every man, and it just wasn't time for Jake to raise up yet, man. It wasn't time.
That's right.
Bring it out, brother.
No, I was just saying, the Levites that brought him to the South Carolina, where the Gullah Islands, they had a power to kill a man with a voice. Now, how does Esau subdue it? Is the Lord, man.
Is that's when they put that thing on their mouth? Yeah,
keep them from talking.
They said because they something that they could do. Yeah, but and then you think about what the Levites did to Esau as well. You know, but Levi has been below poverty ever since. Levi fucked the Edomites up, and they deserved every bloody stroke that they got. They deserved it, but But look at the condition that the Haitians have been in collectively as a people.
Yes.
You know?
And they was made to pay their former slave masters reparations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at the position that they're in to this day.
They were still making payments from 200 or 300 years ago, just these decades. Yes.
I thought they just finished
I don't know if they finished it, but they were still paying.
Yeah, they just finished it not that long ago.
Yeah, and that was that was on the books, and that's a shameful spewing on Esau.
That's Unrighteous again as well.
Hey, that land was rich in gold.
Yes.
Just like Puerto Rico,
a
lot of them islands. How are they fucking rich in gold, and then 500 years later they're in debt?
And they got oil on that.
Hey, just what they did with the Tuskegee, they did that same experiment in Guatemala, and Vice basically just went back there, and what they did is, if you read history, like the elder says, if you read Esau's history, it says that they treated them people, some they did and some they didn't, try to seem like it was a bad guy. When Vice went down there, they basically said no, they didn't get no treatment. The whole study was to see 2 or 3 generations down how untreated syphilis would go down in generation. That second and third generation, they'd be born blind, deaf, all kinds of disabilities, man. And this man really thinks he's gonna get off that, but I'm just gonna read this in Genesis because this is why the Lord don't.
They found out they did some stuff like that to some white folks.
Oh, up in arms, baby.
It will be a serious problem, man. I mean, you got incidents that have been completely fabricated that supposedly happened to white people, and they still getting reparations for it. Like a particular event that happened in World War II. But we won't say nothing more.
This is Genesis 4 and 15.
That's what it was.
Right.
Exactly.
It was a damn hologram. But go ahead.
Compared to what happened to us, hell yeah, man. Compared to what happened to natives with Judah collectively, man, that was a speck, man.
You're talking about,
even those fake ass numbers, man.
You can even, man, it could be close to 50 million to 100 million souls, man. The America, just North America alone, man.
Right, just the
it could be 500 million. We're not even talking about what happened in Hispaniola, Hispaniola and all the stuff that happened in the islands and in South America, man.
The livestock, everything. But this is Genesis 4 and 15. It says, and the Lord said unto him, therefore said, whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. So that's the only reason, it would be so many Jakes, to a plantation, and they couldn't do anything because the Lord had that hedge of protection on Esau. But guess what? It's going to be removed. And when that shit comes, all the other precepts like Isaiah, Jeremiah 37,
it's going to be bad when
30 and 16, Isaiah 33 and 1.
And I think it's getting there. Yeah. Because Edomites are starting to get jacked up more and more around here in America and around the world, man.
He's all over Edomites.
Yeah.
Hey, that brother Yazra brought that to my attention when he was talking about the Ohio shit. This is fucking up the Edomites.
Perfect.
Yeah, even though we all around them, but it's like the plays and the shit, the swords, all that shit. It's how the Edomites.
I got a scripture for you.
Egypt again.
This is Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
Yep.
And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Yes, sir.
So that's got to happen. That's written. It's got to happen, and it's happening.
And it's happening.
I'm about to say it's happening.
Why? If you read in the Deuteronomy, it says, when we shall turn again to the Lord, So that's basically, since we're turning to the Lord, all these things are going to happen. Our enemy's going to be confounded. The other favorite precept, they're going to be found liars.
You know what? I'm going to get it.
I knew you. I was saying to you, that was only an assist. I knew you were do it.
He alley-oop, man. I'm slamming. This is Deuteronomy 33:29.
Go up there and get it.
Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. And when we tell the truth, and when we bring out these things and expose them, that we're treading on their high places, man. And if you think that this isn't making them very uncomfortable, this is why, you know, the parents are always crying about CRT. You know, they want certain topics brought out of school. Children, little Edomites kids coming home. I'm wicked. I'm bad. You know, I don't want to be white no more. We put people in slavery.
Right.
You know,
That's shameful spewing.
and so that's saying because you were proud of that not that long ago.
Right.
They were proud of all the hangings and the covenant of fields. You know,
Making postcards.
All those postcards with
yeah,
pictures.
they were proud of that history.
Come on, bro.
The internet wasn't an issue when Esau was using these devices to share pedophile files, to share all this information. The internet and social media only became a problem when it started spotlighting everything that we're saying is correct and it's exposing him. The internet wasn't an issue when these pedophiles were passing back and forth them files, flight records, emails, confirmations. You know what I'm saying? Receipts.
No,
it wasn't a problem then. But now that the internet is being used from something other than their wickedness, now there has to be controls, censorship, audits, recognition, because now they want to trace everything, and they've been moving towards this for years. But basically, your phone confirms everything, your identity. All now is being used for legal documents. Like now, the DocuSign. If I send you something to an email that can be confirmed through text, that is now your legal signature. So Esau, like you said, Esau changed the rules when it's about him. When it have to stand and serve me, but when it's about getting you locked up, using it as evidence against you, he could use your phone and your timestamps to fucking hang you from a tree. See, it's only a problem when it's against him.
Exactly.
When it's against you, it's evidence.
I mean, but that's how they do it.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
No. So, speaking of hanging from the tree, they trying to bring those lynch laws
back
back.
Well, they try to bring the Jim Crow laws back too.
Yeah, I say bring it back because that's gonna kick off Isaiah 13 and 14. Everybody should go back to their own.
Well,
chase roles.
you had a lot of Negroes laughed at that and said, okay, well, and then they answered, well, we ain't our grandfathers.
Right.
You know, you try. Right.
Right. Now, the funny thing you say that is, on a lot of these TikTok videos, Instagram, Esau is starting out not giving a fuck about being coy anymore. They're coming out saying like, look, hey, I'm telling you, if you're white, move away from black folks because of blah 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 blah. They're starting to bring that narrative. See, now the difference is, I agree with the apostles, man. Ain't gonna ever be no race war that's a straight white on black. This is gonna be a people war.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a people war. It's gonna be black on black, black on white, black on Spanish, everybody on everybody.
Because you gonna have that white guy that got his black buddy that he gonna stand with. You're gonna have that dumbass Jake that's gonna stand with Esau too.
That's it.
So it's gonna be a free fall.
That's it.
Because it is gonna be a huge racial aspect, but it's also gonna be a free fall.
That's why I said bring those Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I got it right here. It's gonna be the biggest free fall in history. It's gonna be from citizens all the way up to World War III.
Yes.
This Isaiah 19 and 2. You got the Singers 15, right? This Isaiah 19 and 2. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So this is gonna be regular, niggas on niggas,
brother against brother,
gooks on gooks, right? And everyone against his neighbor, friends fighting against each other. The scriptures tell us.
Come on now.
City against city.
I'm telling you, that dude that shared beers with you across the fence is gonna be trying to come in your back door. He's gonna be trying to go in your basement door or your garage to get your stash.
Your wife.
You know you got them canned goods in your garage. You know.
Yeah. It says city against city. So again, they brought up this Texas, leaving the United States again. This is in talks again, man.
Yeah.
They trying to see who's gonna join them. So
and if Texas does do that, I can tell you right away, Florida gonna join them. Georgia's gonna join them.
California,
Alabama and California. They may not accept the Californian to them though. They don't like Californians too much. But Utah, Idaho, it's gonna be. See, here's the problem. The whole of the South. If Texas break away, the whole of the South will more than likely follow them. Plus, and now this time, you know, the Union won't be the bigger group because when those southern states break away following Texas, you're gonna have northern states that join on to Texas.
Yeah, a lot of Midwest states. So
you have a lot of
Illinois is a red state. Chicago really is the only spot in Illinois that's not red. Chicago's so big. When the votes happen, the votes go Democrat. But as far as the state goes, this is red.
Absolutely.
So don't be surprised. This shit go, and I hope it is. I hope it happens because
because once you pass the south suburbs,
Will County.
Once you pass the south suburbs of Chicago, it's all red.
As soon as you get out of
as soon as you cross the border into Indiana, it's about 80% red.
Cook County is blue. Outside of Cook, you go to Will, DuPage, and everything. They're all Will.
Yes. Joliet is a split. Joliet is where it starts, which is Will County. It's two parts of Joliet.
Yes.
You got a nigger part of Joliet, then you got the most racist Edomites in the city right there. This nigga went to the gas station. We was going to my uncle had bought a crib out in Joliet. He thought he was doing good because he was in the middle part. Well, niggas was going straight. We at the gas station at the cracker part. Them niggas had the high beams on their car. They was on our ass. We had to get the fuck out of there. You don't talk shit. Look, you don't talk shit back to these crackers right here. There's too many crackers.
Where's the nearest town?
Back the way you came, boy. Hey, I was working out that way in Burr Ridge. And when I got hired, the owner of the company told me that he had not hired a person of color that did not get tracked down by these police at some point in time, pulled over, and they shit ran. And the day that it happened was the same day I missed your graduation. Because that's exactly what the fuck happened.
He's sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take this time to apologize and tell you it wasn't me. It's a live show, Pop.
Hey, Salaki, hey, I've been to Decatur, Illinois, Pontiac, Illinois, Pekin, Peoria. Shit. Went to college in Lincoln. Yeah, that's definitely red. Definitely red as a motherfucker.
Hey, Bloomington too, boy. Bloomington.
I know. Bloomington's too far.
Hey, Alsip, man.
Yeah.
That's definitely red out there.
Hey, man, what you mean, Orland?
That's still Cook County.
Oh, you mean Orland? Oakland?
Yeah.
To this day, niggas don't want to drive down 95th because by the time you go down 95th, you won't get about 25 tickets.
The cracker police in Oakland are pissed off that we moving on that side.
Mount Greenwood.
I got called a nigga the first time at 10 years old in 71 in Oakland. My dad was working at a Fiat dealership out there. We riding through, a couple white boys on a Polo. I'm like, what the hell?
It was on swings.
My sister heard. I'm like, what the fuck he say? He said, hey, you niggas get out of our neighborhood.
Hard
Oh shit, pull over. I was fighting that day. I was ready to both of them. My dad was like, nah. And then I realized now, they'll lynch us out there in Oakland. They would lynch us in the 70s out there.
Yeah, my father told me they beat a Jay with a bat in Oakland.
Yep. Hey, them crackers are mad. Even out in Lansing and Linwood, them crackers mad niggas out there. Yeah. They connect, you know, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. That's that free fall, man. And that goes all the way from citizens up to World War III. The Spirit is pointing out that the Lord is pointing that spirit of violence, man. Thus, with violence shall Babylon fall.
Hey, to land back on that, my brother, he a paintball referee. So he'd go out to these hick towns, and he said multiple times, the guys he go with, the Edomites he roll with, they had to stick up for him for a couple times because Esau was ready to kill my brother. Like, ready to kill him. Right. Esau telling my brother how they going buy ammunition. He buy by the pallets. Yeah. When Esau go buy ammo and they get their buddies together, and they come up with a fund. They put their money together, and they
go
get a
buy
pallet. They
pallet.
bat a pallet of guns.
Then they divide that shit up.
They buy by weight. They buy by weight.
Hey, look, he know farmers, all of this. And that's facts. Because Esau thinking my brother fucking with them the whole time. My brother like, no, I'm just trying to get what I can get. So he think he gonna have a stash when all hell break loose. But of course, ain't none of that shit gonna matter.
Just like the motherfucking black Mason boule motherfucker.
That's how Shaq gave a parable about making friends bad with this world. So keep your cards with your brother. That may play out for your favor.
You mentioned Oak Line. I know my grandma liked going shopping out there back in the 70s. My dad used to bring his gun.
Right.
Yeah. He used to bring his gun every time they had to go to Oak Line.
Yeah, they
damn devils that crazy.
Esau, the Lord says, never trust thine enemy. He said, as iron rusteth. Esau has a perpetual hatred. I even tell one of my little lady friends, her so-called best friend is Esau, and her another one is Esau, and she worked with Esau at Pauly G's. You know?
Oh, her. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I told her, and I said, and so I had to be coy because she's kind of, friendly with them.
Don't blow up the spot, brother.
Exactly right.
Can't talk about the G's, brother.
Right.
Hey, only 90%.
Don't blow up the spot, brother.
But it got to the point where you got to be coy because these Edomites, man, they're not all Edomites. So you'll get a Jake dealing with the so-called Edomite who's actually a Jake.
Brother, I met one yesterday. I'm telling you. I was sitting down having lunch before I came to camp. I was eating, and Abraham came in. When Abraham went up to go get his food, and I was sitting there, and this Irish dude walked up, and you can't go in the bathroom unless you got a code,
right?
And it's on your receipt if you buy something,
right?
So he came over to ask me, and he walked up, and first he asked the Jakes that was standing there, and they was like, you got to just ask somebody with a receipt, and he turned around, and I was sitting there, and he walked over to me, and he asked me, and as soon as the dude opened his mouth, I was like, this dude a whole nigga. All right, and only someone who's in the spirit,
right,
who the spirit is dealing with be able to identify that, because you'll have scoffers. You're probably gonna have some scoff right now.
But that's what it says.
But this dude was a Jake, man. And so he went to the bathroom, and he came, and on his way out, on the way he came by to get, and he was like, hey, thank you, brother, appreciate you, brother. And he gave me the fist, and he walked out. And the way he walked, I was like, man, this dude a whole nigga, man. Right. And then Abraham turned around and saw him, and I was like, man, this dude a whole Jake, man.
Who needs a tongue?
That's right.
Actually, Abraham didn't see him. He hadn't came yet.
I say Esau put that ink dot on the Jim Crow laws, man. Get the chaos happening, man.
Hey, well, it's gonna happen, brother.
Yeah.
One way or another, it's gonna go down.
Okay.
I was gonna say, and just speaking as a man, Trump is he's going up for re-election.
He gonna get it.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Whether he get it or not get it,
it's gonna be
chaos.
If he gets in, it's gonna create chaos.
Yeah.
If he loses again, it's gonna create chaos.
And I think he's gonna lose because they want to set up Kamala. Now, if you watch The Simpsons, when Lisa became the president, she had on the pearl necklaces. When Kamala was voted vice president, it was a whole wave of bitches walking around in pearl necklaces.
Yeah.
And she had the same outfit.
The same outfit. That's what she had, the same outfit that Lisa did.
That shit is gonna.
Yeah, and when we all saw that image of Trump, that shake, and that Chinese dude by that globe, and then that shit came to pass. 15, 20 years later, it's like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. So
one way or another, it's coming.
Predictive programming.
This is 2nd Esdras 15:4. I'm gonna get a couple precepts. I'm gonna read down a little bit. This is 2nd Esdras 15:14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men." Like the brother Capo goes into, the word sedition is them coming against the powers that be, the government.
Ain't gonna be no referees.
Right, so that's one level of the violence. It's got citizens against governments.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like them. You ever seen that madness when them dudes, when they had them
5-on-5
MMA matches? Right. It's just chaos, man. You can't control that shit, man.
That's why they have 2 or 3 referees in there.
Yeah, and the refs trying to run around, and you can't do that because you can't keep your eyes on one fight when it's a fight happening behind you.
God knows.
Right? And then the way the rules go, if a dude get beat down, if he get tapped out, he's out the fight, and the rest of the guys got to fight handicap now.
Yeah. So
You know?
so they got 2-on-1, 3-on-1.
The real 5 guys.
3v5.
Handicap.
5 guys.
That shit wrong. Go ahead.
Figure it out.
Chaos.
Right. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall
And
not.
that invading one another is countries, but it's also
Neighborhood.
remix breaking into your crib.
Brother, I just saw a thing on my phone not even 10 minutes ago about these high brazen robberies that are happening in where crews are driving around in cars, jacking people with their front door. They or catch you in the parking lot or wherever in the gas station out in LA.
Yeah.
And they're afraid that it's gonna spread across the country.
Oh yeah, it 100% is. I forget what state it is. It's so many Walmarts, Walgreens. One of the walls are shutting down because of the fucking
Walmart shutting down a lot of stores.
It's Portland. Yeah.
And Portland shut down damn near all of them.
Yeah, it's too many. It's too many robberies.
And they changed
They
the
follow
rules.
motherfuckers home and then go in your country shop.
Yeah, and they changed the rules to where back in the day, if you did that something that'd be a felony, but they changed it to where if it's under some $1,000, it's a misdemeanor. So now people going up into the Walgreens, the Walmarts, and so forth, and staking stuff, they'll steal always $995 and walk out there, and they'll let them go. And to the point where now it's like, you know what, we're gonna shut down because now even now in some of these Walmarts and Walgreens, they're putting the lock shit over like milk or eggs or so
large detergent
on stuff. You know, it's like, wait a minute, excuse me, I need a salesperson to go get some milk. What the fuck? They started to put shit behind everything. They locking up more than just the baby powder, the liquor or stuff that used to be locked up. Now they're locking up regular ass shit.
Around my job.
During the pandemic, they had the baby formula, but what you would say is that even if they had boxes of it, they would basically only leave the vouchers, because when they did is somebody would break the thing and try to storm out with like a little carton with it, and those were all $45. So you get a box of 12, that's a couple hundred.
Women are stealing like crazy too, especially Edomite women.
Women are always
right, because Edomite, women do steal, man, all the time. I worked loss prevention for a while, and majority of the people that were stealing was females, but right now you got Edomite women stealing more than anybody else because nobody watches them.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. That is with no rider. Yeah, Edomite women been doing that, but it's been trending.
She could have bought the damn store,
right?
But yet she's stealing.
That's what's been trending on the TV shows and movies lately. It started with weeds. This was about 10 years ago. They started with weeds. Now they got a new show called Good Girls. But it's these Edomites
laundering money.
Yeah, but it didn't start as laundering money. They was doing other shit. They do whatever. They do whatever criminal activity, but they make it okay because you're middle class. Edomite you're struggling now. So now you have no choice but to do these illegal criminal activities.
Just as Jake in Florida going through the goddamn water, you know what I'm saying, he's looting when he got Esau doing it. Oh, he's salvaging all that he can find just to survive this horrible time that he's in right now. So for Jake they doing wickedness, but for Esau it's okay. He's basically surviving. Looking at it.
Go ahead with the script.
God, this is 2nd Ezra 15, and I'll read the rest of that verse. It says, one people shall stand to fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princesses, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
So there you go. You got these good old American patriots ready to go against the government. All right, so this is just a lot of just violence on every angle.
Sure.
All right, it says in 2 Ezra 13 that when Yahushua comes, you know, that they're going to leave the wars they're fighting in their own lands. This is going from bottom to top, just violence. Neighbors fighting, friends fighting, motherfuckers going against the government. It's just going to be violence, man. Keep going.
It's like the Waba put the brother did a video about the 7-month-old pregnant Judite woman who tried to rob a taxi driver. She ended up getting shot 4 times, and her and the unborn child died.
But that's just the pride of these women. What business does she have being out there being pregnant? The thing is, the pride in these women think they're holding.
When you really to that story, it's more to that story.
Oh,
When you look into it, it just don't make sense.
Okay. Right. It does, man.
Yeah, she cute. She could have sold that.
God knows. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Martial law.
Oh, that 15-minute face thing again, the China shit. Yeah, that's coming.
And they're trying to build those up. They're already preparing for that.
Right. But that's the same thing because in major cities they already have it built up. They're gonna do the same thing that we used to talk about for years. As soon as he's talking about the pre-pandemic, that as soon as some shit hit the fan, they're gonna raise the bridges. Soon as the shit hit it, they was raising bridges all over. Downtown was his own island. You couldn't get there off the expressway, off the any expressway that they had the state. They had the state police, the Chicago police to stop the shit and not let them come in. And on the bridges, if you couldn't get up the bridge, you couldn't get it.
The Gold Coast and the second half of the Magnificent Mile became an island.
That's it.
You couldn't get to it because the Chicago River splits at what like just past LaSalle and like Wacker, and it goes two directions. It goes the south route and then the north route. So they just raised all those bridges, and pretty much everybody that was on
north or south,
north of Wacker Drive, north of the river, was on an island.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. And you could only go north, so you would have to go way north, then go west to come back south.
Right. Yeah. And that's what they're gonna do to all this. These 15-minute cities and these major cities. All they're gonna do is put, like, matter of fact, even though
it ain't gonna help. It's really not. Because all it's gonna do is everybody on the south side of the river, where we teach, like what Bar Ra Camp used to teach across, from front of Masons, across from Block 37.
Right.
And all those fancy high-rise buildings along the river walk that's on the south side of the lake, Wacker Drive. All of them gonna be burning. Because they're gonna be stuck on the side they're gonna be stuck on the side with all the niggas, figures, and everybody else.
With all those fucking niggas.
Right.
On Old Town, it's so many niggas. It's still niggas in Cabrini, Marshfield Gardens.
True. My client live in Old Town. He moved
North
this
Avenue.
Friday.
North Avenue. I know what you're talking about.
This Friday. So literally, it's my clients are getting. He's one of my last old school. Go back from the. Yeah, he moving to Evanston.
Yes.
Well, it's like the West Side. They call it the West Side, but the West Side is north. Like all the worst part of the West Side, on the division and shit. That's north.
Chicago Avenue, and North Road,
So when they raise those bridges up, they're gonna be in the midst of all these niggas.
Niggas and spiggers. All the rough ass Humble Park Ephraimites.
Humble Park. Micah 5. This is Micah 5. And 7, because like the elders are saying, when shit hits the fan, they set up these new cities, they raise up the bridges. It's only going to backfire upon Esau. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand.
Yeah, and I can only imagine, and it's probably going to be the same scenarios in New York.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be like the movie. It's gonna be go back further than that. That Gangs in New York movie.
Oh yeah.
That opening scene. It's gonna be it's gonna get crazy. Yeah. Except they gonna bring guns too.
The butcher.
They got a lot of guns. Them niggas in the Cabrini, Marshfield Gardens. Them niggas got guns and plenty of it. Humble Park. It's a fucking armory. In Humble Park.
Brother, it's on California and North Avenue. Hey, look, the Latin Kings broke into it's on
California.
It's on North Avenue. It's on North Avenue in California.
Yep.
The Latin Kings broke into that damn armory in the 80s, man.
Right.
And they had them damn laws. They were actually firing laws at police cars, man.
They prepared for that though. I just came through the National Guard down there on Cottage Grove?
55th. 53rd, 51st.
Hey. 53rd. That motherfucking parking lot here, I was coming to see you. That fucking parking lot over there was fucking jammed. They got these motherfuckers in there training right now.
The Mexican president said, he said, how is America trying to wage a war basically against the cartels when 80% of all those high capacity arms were made by American companies that didn't even bother to write a serial number to track. And this is on top of Fast and Furious, Pops. Jake knows about Fast and Furious, right? When Eric Holder, they said gave him all them high powered guns to track, and none of them gave them to none of the bosses. They got, you know what they got? They got a bunch of nickel dime and nickel and sex selling ass niggas with them, and not to mention
no serial number.
Out of this is talking about the 80% of the high capacity. This is aside from the Fast and Furious. And the Fast and Furious, they track some, but the guns that they gave them to henchmen, to nickel and dime selling ass niggas. They were hoping, which really it wasn't them hoping, is that they gave guns to Mexico, thinking this is what this was the understanding of it, that the cartel members were going to get so wooed that they had high capacity guns that they would give them to the higher ups as gifts, and they would take them. The higher ups weren't going to get those weapons. They had untracked better shit that they had in their hands. So they said, you know what, y'all keep them. So when that Operation Fast and Furious, they ended up giving, I think it was like...
They ended up catching low-level guys.
They ended up coming nickel and dime, people that were just holding out at the currency exchange like Jake does now on 26th Street. Like, God damn, bro. You got a bunch of
niggas on the south side right now with RPGs, 100%. When niggas say they got the 9 on them out, in the 90s, 2000s, and 9, it's talking about a 9mm pistol. When niggas say they got the 9 on them right now, they talking about RPGs. Because Rondo number 9, you already know, it's RPG. Yeah. So that's what they talking about. Niggas on the south side right now, west side I'm sure too, but I know he was south. Yeah. They got RPGs.
Right, so Esau does this.
Who the fuck? How did they get their hands on?
That's a different Unrighteous recruits.
Hey, they got ghost guns too up there.
When the elder brother Yarmaya went into it, man. Like how, you know, he actually witnessed them dropping crates.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, but this
been a thing in Chicago.
The prophecies must come to pass. Genesis 49:8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Jake is right here in the midst of everybody, and you better believe they're going to be, like I said, they're going to be a vexation to Esau, Edom. All right? And then 2/3 are going to get destroyed.
Yeah, because guess what? Evergreen Park, Mount Greenwood is just a few minutes away.
Less than 4 minutes.
So it's gonna and there's a whole lot of niggas between there and here.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and they're gonna be niggas is gonna be flooding them.
And them Southside Irish cats, them fake Irish cats, they racist and hateful as hell, man.
Yep.
All right, they are.
And they're your firemen.
Yeah, most of them are your firemen and your cops.
Yeah, West Garfield Park 2. West Garfield 55th back Newport right over there. Mm-hmm. That's a haven too. That's a stronghold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bridgeport, baby.
And I still got those.
What for the Meadamites? Con, play that one.
Can you finish this real quick?
Go ahead, Bob.
Let me just finish this.
I'm trying to get through it this time.
Hey, hold the precepts.
Like a strong ass, y'all. Let's get through it.
Okay,
this is right, and it says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword.
So that's violence against the rulers. All right, that's violence against citizens, citizen on citizen. Free fall, keep going.
Yeah, we kicking in doors.
Mm-hmm. It says, and spoil their goods because of lack of the bread and for great tribulation.
So some are going to be doing it to survive, and some are going to do it because they've been waiting. Just as troublous times, they've been waiting to get this bloodlust off, right? But keep going.
It says, behold, said Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them.
So that's violence from bottom all the way up to top. That's going from citizen to citizen all the way up to World War III, which just was mentioned in that verse right there, man.
You're right.
The biggest free-for-all in history.
You're right.
The best Royal Rumble, man. The Undertaker ain't going to win this one.
And you know what, too? St. Benji? There's two types of preppers out there. Mm-hmm. All right? There's two types of preppers. Yep. You got the prepper that's, getting his canned goods, getting his veggies and his seeds together, getting his rice and his beans. He got his shotgun. He's got a shotgun, his ARs, his pistols. He's got a little system He ain't trying to really hurt nobody. He just ready to defend his own shit.
Right.
But then you got
Raiders.
Then you got those guys.
Yep.
You got guys who they're all they're prepping is weaponry.
Yep.
Because they're not trying to store up food and water because they going to get that shit.
That's it.
Right.
All right, and you gotta understand. You got crews of guys who are waiting for this shit to blow.
That's right.
All right, and most of them are Edomites.
And they militia and they train.
Most of them are former military and that sort of thing, man.
They train.
And they gonna come in packs and they gonna move out tactically and they gonna move on neighborhoods and houses and strongholds that they think that's gonna have what they're looking for, including drugs.
See, they the ones that are seeing this now, and they decided that since the government don't want to do the gun laws and all this other kind of stuff that I've already as ex-military done fought for, and I understand attrition. And guess what? I know that this is my constitutional right. I fought and killed motherfuckers to have this right to be able to carry my weapons and this, that, and the other. Because if you motherfuckers up in government decide y'all wanted to get stupid like they did in 1776, I'm supposed to be able to have my weapon to regulate and make this shit get back to normal, or where I got a piece of the pie, and they ready to defend that.
That's fine. More than like that shit up.
We gonna eat all that shit.
Yeah, then you got them clowns that want to save America and bring it back.
There it is. That's what they.
But then you got the guy who's ready and waiting for the chaos.
Yeah.
So you got people just got, like Benji said, you just guys that got that bloodlust on them and they're waiting to get it out, man.
Bring it out.
Because the Lord is bringing that barbarian spirit that breached the walls, let the siege begin. That breach of the city, right?
That Troy mentality.
That clanging of steel, that crossing of the swords. You got guys who waiting for that shit, man.
Hey, I work with a guy when I used to do security, man, and in the company I work for, they make you do training and all that. He said, man, I can't wait for this shit to go down. I'm gonna grab me the baddest bitch, and what she gonna tell me? Ain't gonna be no 911. He said that bitch gonna do whatever I tell her to do, cause who she gonna call?
Bring it up.
Damn. And this is an armed security guy.
That's security. Yeah. And I looked at him like, damn, nigga. Okay.
The thing is, without you, how about you outside, all them niggas gonna die, them bitches gonna die, and all the rest of these motherfuckers. You have to have the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai, if you're Negro, Latino, Native American, or a speckled bird. You have to have the spirit of the Lord. But the Lord set that spirit up in them. And that's the reason why we've been warning
them. These spirits created for vengeance.
There you go.
So a lot of guys are going to be used as instruments of vengeance. All right, you're going to have a couple crazy ass women out there that's used as instruments of vengeance too.
That's it. I said that too. You're going to have
it is what it
is.
Too. But somebody grab that. We're going to wrap it up. Let's get that Daniel 12:1, because that's what it's going to come down to, man. That's going to end all these unrighteous decrees.
I got it.
Right?
Go ahead, guys.
This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time.
See, that's one of my favorite prophecies, because when people hear prophecies from the past talking about any period of time, especially now, could you read that again?
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
The first thing I think of is the slave ships. And I think of how we were being hunted down in different various parts of not only Africa, but they're not going to tell you about the full trade. It's not a...
they did it in Portugal and Spain too.
That's my
all
point.
across,
you know know them, so you already know where I was going, because they was going up from Britain to the Europe to Africa to South America. It was a rectangular slave trade in my book, right? Because it was going from Africa over to South America to Europe and back. We were mixed and mingled every motherfucking where, and how they treated us was horrible. If you go to the time of when they brought us over here, hanging us, raping us, robbing, that was horrible. The Lord's saying right here, it's going to be a time, unlike any other time. Oh shit! What other times you talking about? What you talking about?
Yeah, well, you think about, all right, so what he's saying is that you know, like if you study history, it probably wasn't the worst of the wars, but it probably was one of the most bloody and most violent. Was Vietnam. Right? That was that was some sick shit that went on.
Agent Orange, White Orange,
that went on. Well, just the violence, just the violence from both sides. The Vietnamese righteously though, because they were defending their home. All right. You know, the American and Allied forces were over there on some unrighteous decrees. Right. But nevertheless, you know, soldier had to defend himself. But it was some very fucked up violent shit went over there. So to think you know, that something could be worse than that, just go watch Platoon or watch Full Metal Jacket. Watch Hamburger Hill, man. You know, they call the place Hamburger fucking Hill, man. You all right? You know?
Well, those were all done during times where it was justified and there was rules of engagement for war.
And they didn't obey them because according to the Geneva Convention, the 50 cal is not supposed to be fired at troops. That's an anti-aircraft weapon. But they got 50 cals mounted on top of fucking Jeeps and shit, man. On top of Humvees, on top of tanks and shit. And they ain't firing at helicopters and planes. They firing at buildings and at people. All right? You ever seen a 50 cal bullet, man? Do you know how big it is?
Like that boy.
Yeah, it's literally, it's damn near as long as these two phones together, man.
Seen a new movie?
Damn near.
Seen a new movie, Plane? It's called Plane. They were shooting 50 cals through. It's going through the Jeeps.
Oh, the one with
and still hitting the guy and throwing him 50 feet.
If you get narrowly missed by a 50 cal bullet, it hit your ear, go past your ear basically busts, bro. That shit'll rip your shit off.
Man, and it's a nasty ass weapon. I was a machine gunner. I was an 0331 machine gunner. That was what I did.
So you had a quick death with.
So that's what I did. I mean, that was my first MOS in the Marine Corps. Before I got went to a better MOS. But I was 0331. That's a machine gunner. That's literally what that is, man. And the 50 cal is a fucked up weapon, man. So is the 30 cal, man. All right.
And a lot of Vietnam's soldiers came back fucked up. They had to do drugs to get.
A lot of them ain't right. I used to work with a dude from Vietnam that would fucking lose it, man. After they calm his ass down, man. Boy, that nigga was too big to be losing it, man. You know.
Chopping them down.
But yeah, go ahead, brother. Read it again.
So back in this Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time.
And Joe Biden boasted in that. He said, "Look, y'all can't fight against us with guns. We got missiles, man."
Yeah. So imagine Vietnam everywhere. That's the point of it. That's the point of everywhere.
The only way out of this is the Lord, man. That's right. He that brought these plagues upon you, the same should deliver you. There's no other way. We can't take Esau down carnally, by our own means. This is impossible. Biden said this as president.
Yeah.
He was talking to you patriots, man. He said you can't, in layman's terms, you can't fuck with us. Y'all got guns, we got missiles.
Remember the little proud butch sergeant? She said the same thing. She was talking about all you patriots, you know, that want to fight against the government, fight against the army, and she laughed. She said, you know, y'all might put up a good stand for like 10 minutes. You know, you ain't gonna last until it turned to Hamburger fucking Hill. But go ahead and finish it, y'all.
It says, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
So do your best, Esau. Do your fucking worst, man. You ain't gonna. I'm just saying, plain. You ain't gonna be able to fuck with us. Plain and simple, man. This ain't 70 AD. That's right. Hey, the Archangel Michael coming, man. Yeah. All right, he got our back this time, man. And our Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Sirach 4:28 says, "Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee." So this ain't. Yahweh Shai said we'll be trotting the foot until the time of the Gentiles be done. Y'all through.
Yeah.
Y'all through.
And this time he said, "Vengeance is in his heart." All right, he's coming back. Vengeance is in his heart, man. That's the Lord is coming back to take vengeance for the controversy of Zion. Man.
That's right.
You're gonna acknowledge who we are, man.
That's right. And then the scripture says he's
acknowledge who we are.
And he said he's long suffering You know what? When the Lord says He's long suffering, it means He's been suffering for a fucking long time, tolerating this bullshit, and He's done. All right. When the Most High says He's done, and He tells Yahushai, who Yahushai, according to the scriptures, doesn't know when the Lord say that moment's going to happen. The Lord said Yahushai is going to leap off the throne. Man.
It said the righteous indignation, so that fury.
That's stacked up on top of stacked up
in
on
that
top
righteous
of stacked up.
form. So it's like basically you earned all this shit, all this shit.
Battle cry, yeah.
Hey, the dregs too.
That's right.
Nobody likes it.
That's right.
Con. You got one? You got one of these last two. Bring them out, brothers.
This is Ezekiel 25:14.
Oh yeah,
and
perfect.
I will lay my vengeance upon Edom.
Come on.
By the hand of
Start at 12, brother.
This is Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. They're going to get a heavy ass destruction coming. Verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh.
And every man of the Lord wants to be a part of that.
That's right.
And if you don't want to be a part of that, then you're not a man of the Lord.
That's right.
Bring out your scripture, brother.
Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Right, that standard, man, goes into fleeing. The one that I love about it, man, it goes into our power back, man. Before it says force back. So just like the elder just brought out earlier in the lesson, he said, "How can one chase 1,000? Because we're gonna have a power back."
That's right.
With thee.
That's right. And that's on this side.
It
before
made me
we get our bodies.
It made me think of that Daniel 11 when he said but the people that do know the Heavenly Father, they're gonna do exploits. The Most High is about to raise up His men. He's gonna make us with thee. Will I break into pieces the kingdoms? With thee, you'll be battle axes and weapons of war. The Most High is done with this.
The Lord said, "All the mountains shall be shaken out of their place."
That's it.
So that's literally something. All the government's gonna be brought down. Man. Right? Hey, so with that, man, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rikakudash.
Wa abba babal.
Abba babal.